So we saw Deadpool 2 yesterday, and why don't you tell me what you thought about it?
Well, if you guys don't know this, I'm a big Marvel fan. I've seen basically every Marvel movie, and I say basically because I did not see the Hulk. I'm not going to go see that. Don't tell me to go see it. It's not happening. Um,
He didn't do that bad of a job.
anyway, so yeah, we saw Deadpool. We saw the first one too, where like his origin story, how he like got to be him because of like Wolverine, who was actually my favorite. I prefer him over Deadpool, but we're not gonna talk about that because I'm still grieving. So what did I think about the movie? Well, at first I was like, okay, it's kind of funny, but then at one point they kind of dragged on the jokes too long, and there was like so much going on in this one segment where like it was like not so much like action stuff, it was just like a lot of jokes that were happening that it was hard to concentrate on the actual plot for a second for me. Like there was jokes in the song choice, there were jokes like written across the screen, there were jokes that they were telling. I'm trying to concentrate on what this dude costume looked like to see if it looked good, and I'm like, I don't know what they just effing said. I really don't know what they talking about. And then,
So Catherine doesn't like humor in Marvel movies.
that is a lie. How are you gonna like Marvel movies and not like humor? The problem was it was too much in that one part for me. Like
Well,
because
that's like the whole point of Deadpool.
okay,
It's ridiculous.
I don't. That's fine and it's ridiculous, but I was like, I couldn't pay attention for like a hot second. I had to stop looking at stuff so I could actually see where we was going to plot. Because I literally missed like maybe it wasn't that much. I missed like 15 seconds of them talking. I was like, what are they talking about? And I was like, let me just stop looking at everything and try and pay attention. Anyway,
I felt that the pacing was pretty decent. I liked Deadpool 2 significantly more than Deadpool 1. There's a lot of things that I think it did a lot better. For one, the jokes seemed more pertinent to actually what was happening in the movie most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. Number two, there in the first movie there were cutaways like back to his origin story and what was happening in the here and now, and it kept going back and forth between that. And it was a bit jarring at first, but you got used to it after a while in the movie. The problem was the stuff that was happening in the current day in the first movie was tearfully boring, and I couldn't stand it. His origin story was sadly way more interesting than what he was doing right then. In this movie, that wasn't the case. Both of the cutaway stuff to the stuff in his past or when he dies, and cutaway to like what he's actually doing. Both I was actually actively invested in what was going on, both in the past and what was currently happening. And even though the timeline kind of jumped around a little bit, it wasn't as jarring as the first movie because I think they did it maybe a little bit less, or when they did it, it was more clear that that's what we were getting. And all in all, I think that helped tell the story a lot more organized in a better manner. I could draw a similarity to this to a video game called.
just the cat.
It's that Beyond Two Souls video game, because they kind of jumped around and then they remade it again later, and they told the story in order and it made more sense. I'm getting off track here. But the way that they did the jokes, the order in which they told the story, and the story itself, I thought was better than the previous one too, because this one was a family movie.
Okay. Some of the jokes, I mean, like 90% of the jokes, I agree, I really enjoyed, but they kept going in on like stuff about X-Men, and I love X-Men, like of all the Marvel things. That's not why I was getting irritated. I was getting irritated because it kept snatching me back out the movie, and when I watch like superhero movies, I want to pretend like I'm up in that mug, about to be fighting too with my powers that I don't have any of. And every time he mentions something about that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not really a superhero. I'm like, could you shut up so I could be a superhero for 30 more minutes, please? That was really my main problem. But I did like the fighting, because I always like the fighting and special effects. And my girl Domino, I wish that I still had my hair, because before these videos, I had hair, y'all, like hers. And I could have been her for Halloween, so now I'm going to have to get a wig.
I think there was a interesting X-Men scene in this movie.
That was my favorite scene.
Where they're in the mansion and he's complaining about how they don't have any X-Men, how the mansion's completely empty every single time, and then there's a quick cutaway to a room with like 6 of them in there.
Storm, Quicksilver, Professor X, the blue dude whose name I'm like forgetting right now. Not Nightcrawler, the big one. And I don't know who else is in there because it's like really fast.
Yeah, it, like literally just cuts to like a doorway and they're shutting a door and there's all those people in there. And I thought that was really funny that they finally acknowledged the fact that a lot of people were wondering where the fuck all the X-Men were in the first movie.
Yeah, because like that mansion is usually bustling full of just like people.
So there's a few callbacks to its predecessor too, which weren't they didn't overstay their welcome. They didn't seem like there was too much of it either. And I actually feel that I'm excited for Deadpool 3 if it ever comes out. Having seen Deadpool 2, I thought Deadpool 1 was entertaining, but it was like a 6 out of 10 for me. This one I'd put more at like a 7 or an 8. It did everything that its predecessor did right, and then learned from the mistakes of its predecessor and made a better movie, in my opinion.
What did they do wrong?
Just had a painfully boring, like, here and now.
Deadpool or?
Deadpool 1.
Oh. Okay, you just can't talk about X-Men. That's all I know, because I'd have had to fight you. But
yeah, that's not what this is about. The title of the video is Deadpool 2.
I know what it's about. I thought you were saying it did it better than X-Men.
She's tripping, but that's all I got really. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I really have too. I was your boy making an appearance, the Juggernaut, and Colosso is there.
Colosso?
Who
the fuck is Colosso?
You know what I'm trying to say.
Colossus?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Colosso. It's Picasso, except
Picasso.
He's an X-Man. X-person. He's an X-person. You have to be forward thinking.
Oh, they make some
Don't
good
gender
jokes
all
and
of
stuff,
them.
But yeah, so I enjoyed it because it's Marvel. So I mean, unless it's the Hawk, I'm pretty much
X-Force.
It's Wakanda for life. Anyway, so yeah, okay, thanks guys. Bye. I guess
I already cut it.
Oh, well, this one ain't cut.